have the show where you can get ideas to help you grow your eco-conscious business. And today I'm joined by Penny Gundry from BeadTrail, and we're talking about using objects mainly from natural materials to help clients gain clarity, inspiration, and new ideas for life and in business. So welcome, Penny. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
Oh, thank you. So Penny has amassed a huge collection of beads, buttons and stones and developed the BeadTrail process. And she says by working with objects, it helps people see things from a different perspective and open neural pathways to gain clarity and inspiration. So we'll launch straight into the questions. How did it begin and how's it developed and what drew you to this work?
It's something just a little bit different. So it first started when many years ago when I was a family therapist, trained as a family therapist. And my first ever client came to me, and I was kind of quite innocent and not really knowing what I was doing. And my first ever client came to me and sat in front of me, and I said, "What do you want to work on?" And she just went quiet, and she was looking me in the eyes, and she couldn't verbalize what it was that she wanted to work on. I'm looking at her, she's looking at me, my first ever client. And into my head came, why am I using words in therapy when this person obviously is struggling to use language? And I ended up doing a thesis, When Words Fail.
Right.
And from that, I started using objects. Now that's many years ago. I did art and objects. But when I trained as a coach many years later, and I operate now more as a coach, I started using objects, and I started using things, collecting things in a lovely little box. I used to carry this box around with me, and I had a little lighthouse, and I had a battery, and I had a key, and I had a coin. And I used to say, let's just express, your goals or anything you want with these objects. And they loved them. I could do them just on a small table, but they always chose the same thing. So they would choose the lighthouse for the goal. The battery would be energy, the coin would be money. So it became very predictive. And as the process developed, I started putting more into the box. So I started collecting stones, beads, buttons, all kinds of things. And that is when the magic happened, because when people pick something that could be anything, so when you've got a bead, of course, then that can be anything, and it frees up the process.
All right.
And it can be used for anything. So that was the magic. And then I then developed the whole process so that now actually people get sent out a little kind of bag of beads beforehand, because I'm working remotely. So they kind of have their beads, and what happens is that they kind of pick, they pick their beads to represent anything. It can be a thought, it can be a person, it can be a place. I had one person come to me who wanted to make a big decision about whether to move internationally from UK. And so these beads became different places, and they started to kind of move them around. And the interesting thing for me is that a bead, obviously it can represent anything, which frees up the process. But when we start to put them down spatially, so that presents wanting to move on, that represents my family, whatever, my team. When we start to put them down onto a space, we kind of instinctively, every single time this has happened, instinctively someone has put it down in a place and they know where it goes. How fascinating is that? And then they start moving, no, that doesn't go there. And they start moving, my family, no, that goes over there. And then they try it in different places. And I think what's happening is that people it kind of opens new neural pathways. Because what we tend to do is we talk and we go round and round in circles. We have our thoughts that go down the same neural pathways. They say, don't we, that we have about 60, 70,000 thoughts a day, but 90% of them are the same as yesterday. So we have these same thoughts going round and round. But when we start to have things that represent things and move them spatially, I think that opens new neural pathways. It seems to, from what I've seen with clients, because even people who've been stuck on something for quite a while, and they come and they start working with the bees, they do get a different perspective. They get new ideas and thoughts that they haven't had before.
Wow, that's really interesting. And do you find that sort of people that come to you, that seek your help, have common goals they want to achieve?
Well, first of all, I think probably because the way I was talking about it, people would come with they want to make decisions, and that still happens. So they want to make a decision. Should I move jobs? Should I change my career? Should I move house? And really trying to find solutions. And actually, it's ideal for that. So it's a lot of people do use it for that. But I'm wondering, because more recently, and I wonder if it's the times we're in, at the moment, people say, I want to gain some clarity. I want to explore. I mean, the last 2 sessions, just yesterday, both I want to gain clarity. They use the same language. So I find that quite interesting. And I think people are, well, we're in such unusual times, aren't we? We want to make sense of our world, and we want to know what I don't understand these things, and I want to understand things. And what I'm noticing is that people can go very deep if they want to with it. They can kind of really explore. The other thing, of course, is that people are working, even they're looking down, they're working on a piece. They sometimes show me, they sometimes don't. I don't need to see it. But also that means that I can step back and they can work on their own processes.
Yeah, so sort of they're working it out for themselves.
Yeah.
And I think what you said there as well, I mean, a lot of people kind of trying to find their purpose as well, isn't it? So I think that probably becomes quite an issue for many people.
Yes.
So, what could we do for ourselves, to gain inspiration and clarity in our lives and our business lives as well?
Well, how many of us use objects? Because I use them all the time. It was even something I was stuck on last week, and I got all the beads out. And obviously I've got hundreds because I used to do face-to-face mostly. But I got them out, and I noticed I was using completely different colours from the colours I usually use. And that's interesting in itself. So I think, well, obviously you don't have to have, you can get a bag of beads. I sell little bags of beads, but you don't have to have beads. You can use anything, can't you? So when I do webinars, like for people abroad, I did one for Texas. They didn't have bags of beads, and we used objects. I told them to go and find objects. So they bought a cup, a remote control, a pen, a piece of paper, anything you've got in front of you. And then you can work through a process of what's the goal I want to get to, and you pick something for the goal. You have your cup for the goal, and then where are you now? And you're kind of on the table, you've got something over here, and then what is the steps that you can get to? What's on the way? And you kind of put the remote control, and you put a little vase of flowers and whatever.
Yeah, so it's sort of helping you through that process step by step, isn't it? I think visually as well, it's a great way of kind of showing that, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, that's really, really interesting process. So what would your beads, I know they look amazing. And I know you've got a special offer for those that are tuning in as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, what I've got is what I've done is I've put a 20% reduction on a BeadTrail session. So on the website, it's it's called a BeadTrail session. So that is an hour to an hour and a quarter, just totally focusing in. You get sent as part of it, you get sent a bag. These are all handmade, and actually these are all a local seamstress just down the road. She delivers these. She walks to the house, she delivers them, which is lovely. Anyway, you get your little bag of beads through the post, and then we do a session. And I've put a 20% discount on the website just up till Friday, just to let people know. And obviously the session doesn't happen necessarily this week, but it means they can pay for it and organise a spot.
Oh, fantastic. And that if people just go to beadtrail.co.uk.
Yes, I think I've got, there you go. beadtrail.co.uk.
Oh, fantastic.
So, yeah.
And that's very, and lastly, my last question is, what is your top eco business tip?
Do you know what really I'm passionate about is about how we keep things, small numbers of things, precious. So I lived in Venezuela, and we had very, very many years ago, we had very little. We had one plate, one spoon, one knife, one fork each.
Wow.
And enough. It's about enough. I feel very strongly about that. And it's about keeping what's precious. For me, a little bag of beads is precious, and we can use them over and over again. And they are glass, they're wood, they're metal, they're ceramic. And it's keeping those things and not keeping purchasing more and more and more stuff. What have we got that's precious? Keep that, use it, enjoy it, recycle it, and
Definitely.
avoid more and more stuff.
Definitely. I think that's a fantastic tip. And I have looked at your website and I've seen some of the beads, and they're just so beautiful. And someone actually was asking on the LinkedIn post I did, I think they mentioned something about having the beads, or what to do with them once you finish them, or something like that. And I just thought, oh, actually, I could make it into a necklace or a bracelet or something like that. But as you say, you can just keep them.
You can use them over and over again. You don't need me.
Yeah.
Once you know what you're doing, you can use them over and over again for decisions. You can play with them, and a lot of people give them to their children, and they love them, and they choose and they make patterns out of them.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Oh, really exciting. Well, I will make sure, for those of you who are watching, thanks for watching. If you're catching the replay, do come with all your comments and questions, and both Penny and I will get on to that and help answer anything that you've got. And do check out beadtrail.co.uk. Thank you so much for offering that discount. That sounds amazing, and I hope people sign up. And you say we've got till Friday.
Good till Friday, just for that discount. Put it on from today to Friday.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us, Penny. That was really interesting. Yeah, great to have you on the show. And for everyone else, we'll see you same time next week. Take care.